Hi everybody. Okay, so I'm back with another K-drama to see. Have you already seen it? And if not, is this something that you would check out? So before we get into the video, you already know the drill. Like this video, follow me for more, and share this with someone that you know that would be into K-dramas, okay? So the name of today's K-drama is called Dr. Stranger. Starting scene for Dr. Stranger, we see like this young boy and he's with his dad, and I guess there are paperwork regarding like a lawsuit in the dad's office. And then we see two men show up. One of them appears to be a government official, and the other one appears to kind of be, I don't want to say like his bodyguard, but something of that nature. So now the young boy has to stand outside with the bodyguard, and he has a lollipop, and he gives the lollipop to this, bodyguard, while they wait for his dad and the bodyguard's boss to finish talking. Now, while the two of them are talking, essentially the government official is saying to the man, hey, you can prevent a war if you go to North Korea and you operate on, I believe his name is Kim Il-sung, and pretty much you can prevent us having to go into a war because the United States is preparing to I believe the South Korea at this time. And this was like 1990s time frame. This young boy, his dad essentially argues, why would I go into the enemy's country and help them? How would I look to the people? And the government official says, hey, don't worry about that. The main key thing is that we're trying to prevent a war from breaking out, and we're trying to prevent innocent children, innocent families from having to die. Okay? So eventually, we see helicopters flying overhead. We see army tanks rolling on the screen. And to a certain extent, this kind of convinces the young boy's dad, okay, let's go. So they take him to the border, they do the trade-off, and he goes and he operates on this North Korean leader. The man ends up surviving and making it, and then when it gets time for him to return back to South Korea, essentially, that South Korean government official says or declares that there can only be one hero. So he has a line of men with their rifles locked and loaded, aiming at this young boy and his father who just saved their country. And it's because he doesn't want anybody else to take the credit for the fact that a war was prevented, because I guess this is supposed to further his agenda, his political agenda, okay? Now, what happens in North Korea is this man says, this is so wrong of South Korea to do something like that to you. You can stay here in North Korea as a doctor, especially since you saved our leader's life, and we will give you these things. Now, keeping in mind that in staying here, you can never leave. If you try to escape, we will end you. The young boy essentially is growing up in North Korea now. He meets a girl. He essentially falls in love with this girl. And I would say his mission in life is to be with that girl. At a certain point, you see him hustling outside of the school with, I would say, like tapes that he burned himself of the latest pop music. Now, something ends up happening to the girl that he's fallen in love with, family. And the girl is running and she's essentially trying to get away. And I guess that kind of forces him to have to like do surgery. He finds out that there's a young woman involved, so he helps her. They're able to, I guess, save her by giving her a kidney or whatever the heck the case was that happened. And then after that, the girl's dad was essentially about to get unalived. He meets with this German doctor who is able to help him to get into the room where the girl he just operated on is. The doctor essentially tells him, hey, with this vial, you should be able to stop her heart for just a few moments, long enough for them to declare her as deceased, and then you can wheel her out and you guys can escape. Now, he goes through with the process, and he also says, make sure that the machine is not plugged in so that they never discover that, nothing happened. Eventually, they do catch on to the ploy, and you see the young boy and the young girl running off. At this point, they're teenagers, okay? They're running off down the street trying to escape. Now, these North Korean men start firing at them, and they end up shooting the girl. And as they shoot the girl, she falls over this bridge, and he kind of catches her. And then it looks like they shoot him, too, as a way to kind of keep him from, like, escaping, and he doesn't die. And she says, just let me go. So her body washes away wherever it washes up. And now it's his mission in life that he has to find her. He doesn't know where she is or anything like that. Some way, somehow, I believe his father ends up helping him escape North Korea to be able to go back into South Korea. And in doing that, he makes it his mission to try to work with this guy that I would say is like a con artist to try to get the girl back. Now, while he gets over there, he's doing odd jobs to earn whatever money that he can to pay this man to essentially bring the girl or smuggle the girl in from either China, because that's where they last heard that she was seen. And one day he ventures off into a hospital delivering water, and there's a young girl that he had recently, haggled over 50 cents, I would say. And the young girl is essentially screaming because her dad is having issues. Her dad is passing out. No one is paying any attention to the father, and she doesn't know what else to do. Now he sees, no one around him knows that that he used to be a doctor in North Korea, but he is able to help this young girl's dad out and help the young girl. Now in doing this, he does all these things that essentially would have gotten him sued and put in jail. He starts screaming at some of the medical staff that this man is, I guess he's having like a myocardial infarction. So he's having a heart attack, right? And he's essentially saying he needs to be operated on stat. There's like a blockage or whatever that's going on. This man needs help, okay? So when they are rushing him to the operating room, everybody's like, who are you? What doctor are you? You can't, not just anybody can go in there. And he goes in, he makes clean cuts. He saves this man's life. Now, the whole hospital is in disarray because we could get sued. Who is this random man that we just like operate on people? One of the doctors who sees that he did this surgery starts to petition for him to join his team or to join the hospital. And our main lead, he's kind of like, yeah, I'm really not interested in that. Like, I have my own things. I'm trying to earn money so I can do what I got to do. And the guy goes, how much money do you need? And he starts pulling out money, okay? He pulls out money. Is this what you need? And the guy is thinking, what? You can just give me this money easily? And he's just like, yes. So he's like, you know what? Fine. I will. Now, when he's standing in front of the people and he's getting ready to introduce this young boy, when they start asking the young boy questions, okay, where did you go to school? Where did you become a doctor? And the guy who recruited him was just like, who cares? He's a doctor and he can do his job. And our young male lead responds, I went to a university of medical school in North Korea. That's how I got all my training. And immediately, everybody starts losing their shit. They're like, you brought a defector here? The guy that was petitioning for him to join the hospital, he changed his mind. He's just like, if I had known that you were a defector, I would have never offered you this chance. You got to go. So now everybody's just like, wow, like you would do a job like this for money. And he kind of points out to them, that's what surgeons do. That's what doctors do. All the work we do, we don't do it for free. We do it for money. It doesn't have to be necessarily because we're greedy, but to keep ourselves like alive kind of thing. Some random man that we have probably never seen in series shows up to the hospital and he essentially petitions to the chairman of the hospital, hey, whatever you do, make sure that you hire him to work for the hospital. And the chairman is like, well, he is a good doctor. He's a really great surgeon. We would really kind of like be losing out. Now, the man that petitioned the chairman to recruit and hire this North Korean doctor kind of doesn't tell him why he's doing it, okay? And ultimately, as the story progresses, we find out that so many people were in cahoots as to why this young boy's father was sent off to North Korea and that they never intended to bring him or his son back. And this was just a way for them to cover up something that happened in the hospital, but it was proposed to them by the government official. And it was kind of like essentially like, you know, one hand washes the other for this situation. While he's working at the hospital, he notices a woman and she looks exactly like his love or his first love that he, you know, last heard was seen in China, the one that washed away in the waters, right? And so now he has motive. Now he has incentive. Now he has reason to join the hospital because he wants to find out, is this my fiance? Is this my girl? Also, at him joining the hospital ruffles so many feathers of people that are trying to keep secrets confined. And the North Korean guy who was essentially holding the kid and his dad hostage, he's lurking about in the cuts of the hospital. Okay, so you really just have to check this one out. Come back and let me know if this is something that you've already seen. Would you recommend this to other people? And if you haven't already seen it and you do end up checking it out, definitely come back and let me know how you felt about it. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, thanks. Bye.